What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we have our final ranking video for 2014 rules. It is a bittersweet moment here for the channel. We have been doing this for a very long time, and here we are. We have finally arrived at the end. And so it's an interesting moment for sure, but I am excited to be moving on to the 2024 stuff, to be bringing you all of the new content. Of course, some new Unearthed Arcana just dropped a few days ago, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of that as well. So there's some really cool stuff, and of course we can discuss that on the channel as we go. But for today, it's War Magic time. It is the final wizard. We're jumping back to Xanathars, which is a good time, and this is a very interesting subclass, and we'll just have to see how it does. But before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, we just reached our goal of 5,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. Whether you are a new subscriber, you've been here since the beginning, I thank you for being here, and of course we've got a special coming up very soon. I have begun working on it. There's a lot that I'm putting into this special, and I think you all are going to really like it. That will be up probably next week or the week after, just depending on how much time it takes me to get everything prepared, but I want it to be something really nice for you all. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, so be watching out for that. So again, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, and help us to get on to 6,000, 7,000, all that. Make sure to click the bell so you're notified when new videos are uploaded, and of course share the video with your friends. So what is War Magic? War Magic is kind of the mix of the Evoker and the Abjuration Wizard, right? And so we've talked fondly, mostly, about each of those subclasses, and so it's interesting to take both the offense and the defense and combine them into one thing, right? However, I've also warned against trying to specialize in too many things in a subclass before, so is it good enough at each of those things to warrant a high ranking, or does it all just kind of fall apart and become a master of none? We're gonna find that out today. Starting off at level 2, we get Arcane Deflection, and this is going to allow us to just be a little bit more sturdy, which is pretty cool. So with this, whenever we are going to be hit by an attack, or if we fail a saving throw, we can use our reaction to add +2 to our AC, or we can add +4 to the saving throw. When we use this feature, this is weird wording here, we cannot cast spells other than cantrips until the end of our next turn. Now, you don't really see that wording anywhere else in any subclass, which is kind of cool. I really like that restriction. It's not a you have to take a short rest, or you have to take a long rest, or anything like that. You're limited on your next turn, which is kind of interesting, right? It also means that this is pretty spammable, right? Once you get your reaction back, you can use this again and use it as many times as you want, which is cool. However, let's talk about the power of this, right? +2 to AC. That's really not that great. As you know, meet it, beat it, right? That's how the rules work for AC. So if something matches your AC, then it's going to hit, right? So this means that if somebody matches your AC or beats it by 1, then this works. If it's 2 or more, then this doesn't work, right? And so it's really not as impressive as it sounds on that front. Now the +4 to saving throws, that's really good. I do think that's very useful, and that will definitely save you, I would imagine, several times, which is cool. Again, I think the restriction on this really isn't that bad. Now, thinking ahead here, the only issue with gumming up reactions on wizards, and you'll see what I mean a little bit later when we talk about the 6th level spell, is that there are some very important spells that wizards really like taking that are on a reaction. Shield, right? I've named it on every single wizard build that we've done through this series, is having shield. And I think almost every one of them I've had counterspell, also a reaction. This conflicts with that. Now, obviously, you might be saying, well, Dapper, this is +2 to AC and it saves you from having to use a spell slot. Yes, but it's only +2, right? And so if it doesn't match your current AC or beat it by only 1, this feature doesn't help you in that way, and shield is better, right? So in that way, I don't think that it's as impressive as it comes across, right? And you're definitely going to deal with attack rolls a lot more than saving throws. You'll deal with plenty of saving throws, but this would obviously come up a little bit more with attack rolls. So to me, it sounds nice, but there's a lot of things that aren't written here that are really restrictive in how the rules work. And so to me, it just kind of falls behind, right? It kind of falls behind a little bit. I don't think I can go any higher than a 7 out of 10 on this. I think that it's fine. It's helpful. It's not anywhere near to our detriment, but it does obviously conflict with some very important spells. The boost to AC is probably not actually going to come up all that often because, let's be real, you're a wizard. You've got low AC, right? You're probably putting mage armor on, and then hopefully you got a little bit extra there. And so a lot of times it's going to get beaten by 2 or more because your AC is not that great. And you don't even get any kind of armor proficiency as a war magic wizard, which is kind of weird too, right? So I think that it sounds nice on paper, but there's a lot that's not here that ends up holding this back. Also at level 2, we get Tactical Wit, and this is very simple, but also quite effective. We get to now add our intelligence modifier to our initiative. That's fantastic. That's really, really good, actually. Our intelligence modifier should be our best stat. We should be aiming to get this to at least a +5 as soon as we possibly can. And so that's great. Having a high initiative is absolutely fantastic, especially for a wizard, because that means that you could then drop a devastating spell right at the beginning of combat, whether that's a fireball to just kill everything, if that's a hypnotic pattern to incapacitate a bunch of stuff, whatever it happens to be, that could be very, very helpful. So I do like this a lot. This is a 9 out of 10 for sure. Super, super helpful. Adding on to our initiative can only help us out. We're probably not going to have the best dexterity out there, so this is more than welcome. At level 6, we get Power Surge, and this is a very interesting ability. So whenever we use Dispel Magic or Counterspell to successfully end a spell, we get 1 charge of this Power Surge. Now we can have a number of these equal to our Intelligence modifier at maximum, and of course when we have a long rest, they reset down to 1. What can we use them on? Well, once per turn when we deal damage to a creature or object with a wizard spell, we can spend 1 of these to deal extra force damage equal to half our wizard level. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Now, it's force damage, so that's arguably the best type of damage that you could possibly have, which is nice. So I do like the damage boost. This does, of course, bring into a glaring light the issue with Arcane Deflection, because now this specifically states that you need Counterspell and or Dispel Magic in order for this feature to function. And so now we're contradicting things just hard. It was kind of implied before, and now it's just hard contradiction. So that's a little tough. That's a little tough. But let's think about this, right? We're dealing extra damage equal to half our wizard level, right? So right now that's 3, up to a maximum of, if we stored 5 of them, we could use them. And of course, you're replenishing them throughout the day, right? So it could be more than 5, possibly, if you are getting things that are counterspelled or dispel magic throughout the day. But that's a little dependent on that working out, right? So if you are in a forest and you're only dealing with beasts that are not casting spells and there's no crazy magic stuff happening, this doesn't work out, right? This does not help you at all. You get 1 use and that's it. So that is 3 extra force damage 1 time in the day. So that damage doesn't really sound all that great, right? So you'll have, eventually at level 20, you would have 10 damage. And again, it depends on the counterspell. Now, of course, counterspell, you got to make sure that you get that actually dispelled. And if you're having to then waste your 7th, 8th, and 9th level spell slot, is that worth it just to try to get this back? Is that all that helpful, right? To me, 10 extra force damage at level 20, it's not really going to make that big of a difference, right? To me, that doesn't really make a huge difference. So I think that this is really not as impressive as it sounds. Again, it conflicts with Arcane Deflection. I can't go higher than a 6 out of 10 on this. I just can't. The damage isn't there, and it's conflicting with one of our main features, and I think that the power here just is not quite what it should be, unfortunately. At level 10, we get Durable Magic, and this is also quite helpful. So when we are maintaining concentration on a spell, we get +2 to AC and all saving throws. That's pretty fantastic, actually. I can't hate on that at all, right? AC and saving throws are absolutely amazing. Obviously, this technically makes your arcane deflection slightly better because your AC is now naturally higher, which is kind of cool. So yeah, there's really not a downside to this, and of course a bonus on all saving throws, also fantastic. And again, that works with arcane deflection on the saving throw side as well. So I do like how that works. Again, that we have the issues with arcane deflection, but durable magic itself is also kind of cool. I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's cool. The bonus obviously could be a little bit more, but still, I think that this is quite useful. I don't mind that. Finally, level 14, we get Deflecting Shroud, and this gives us one more thing to stack onto our Arcane Deflection. So with this, whenever we use the Arcane Deflection, we can actually deal damage to up to 3 creatures within 60 feet of us, and we deal force damage equal to half our wizard level. Again, this is half our wizard level, so at this point it is 7 damage, and as you know, Arcane Deflection is not limited in how many times it is used. However, after you use it, you are limited to only cantrips. Now, if you are maintaining concentration, as is encouraged by Durable Magic, you know, it's buffed a little bit, but still, again, we are really heavily leaning into that reaction. And to me, again, I want to leave my reaction open to shield. I want to leave my reaction open to counterspell because I have another feature that actually works with counterspell specifically. I think that there is a lot here that it is just causing me to really not know what to do with my reaction, whereas as any other wizard, I think that it would be pretty clear what I would want to do, honestly. So I think that this creates a bit of a difficult choice, and I think that there's just too much going on in the reaction area. To me, I really can't give this any more than a 6 out of 10. Again, the damage really isn't all that amazing here. It's 10 damage. Well, at level 20, it's 7 damage now for up to 3 creatures. But still, again, you have to use your Arcane Deflection. So that means you have to be getting attacked and you have to have failed something. And again, it's only a +2 bonus. So again, it has to be meet or beat by 1 for this to actually make a difference. And so to me, I still think that that's a little bit limited. And so overall, I just don't think I'm all that impressed. So what do we think of the War Magic Wizard? I will say I came in expecting a lot more out of this. I really thought that this subclass was going to give me that real, not quite the Gish type of thing, because obviously that's stepping on the toes of the Bladesinger. But still, I thought that I would see that real War Mage here. And I don't think it quite does that. I think that it tries to be an Abjurer, it tries to be an Evoker, and I think that it just tries too hard for both and doesn't really get up to the standard of either of them, to be honest. Again, there's a lot of conflicting things in this. Arcane Deflection actively conflicts with Power Surge, right? That's tough. Right, obviously Tactical Wit is really good. Power Surge, again, like I said, there's a conflict there, and Deflecting Shroud goes with Arcane Deflection, which conflicts with Power Surge. And so I think you've got too much going on for your reaction. I think there is too much being added on here, and I don't think that I can actively say that it's worth it in this case. I think that these options are too pigeonholed into one thing, which is your reaction. And so, like I said, I would much rather cast Shield most of the time, because a +5 is going to make way more of a difference than +2. Way more of a difference, and it's worth that first level spell slot. So I just don't think that all of this comes together in a way that is nearly as impactful as it sounds on paper. Again, I think there's a lot that is not written here, but is written in the player's handbook, that really holds this back and is not going to be nearly as successful as someone thinks. And maybe there's a differing opinion, but to me, I just think it falls just shy. I think I've got to give it about a 6.4, which is going to be a 6 and is going to barely fail. I think that it just doesn't quite get to where it needs to be. It's certainly not a bad subclass per se, and I'm sure that there are situations where you can make it work, but to me, I think that it's just missing that one extra little thing, and I think that the active conflict between Arcane Deflection and Power Surge is really glaring, and I really just can't get beyond that. So we're gonna have to fix this one more time, one more subclass fix before we end everything for 2014. So I'm excited to be making one more subclass fix. I obviously very much enjoy doing those, and so on Sunday we will be doing that, so make sure to check that out. And of course on Saturday we have another video going out, and it is week 1 of the UNPL season 6 of our Pokemon Draft League, so make sure to check that out as well. So until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.